If you're any kind of a big TV series fan, and even carry slight nostalgia, then you've probably heard of the show Cobra Kai. Just to get it out there, I think it's an amazing show. I think it talks well to both Generation X and Millennial generations, and in my opinion, celebrates both in a good way. As a matter of fact, it's the reason why I got YouTube Red, and I've streamed the last 2 seasons in a single sitting after release. With the show's growing popularity, more people are talking about it, and you start to see things like Cobra Kai merchandise. Then, one day I saw this. Cobra Kai, the video game. Oh dear. This is Mad Marty, and this is a Casual Gamer's review to Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid Saga continues for the PS4. This game was originally released in October 2020 by Game Mill Entertainment, and quite frankly I had no idea it existed. In short, the game almost plays like an old school coin-op beat-em-up like Double Dragon. In recent years I would consider it close to some of the beat-em-up Ninja Turtle games, and there's also a few elements that remind me of Final Fight. Taking place during Season 2, you play this game's story from both the perspective of the Cobra Kai characters and Miyagi-Do, each with their own playable scenario. Cobra Kai uses Miguel, Johnny, Tori, and Hawk, whereas the Miyagi-Do uses Sam, Daniel, Robbie, and Dimitri. Both sides are incorporated as bosses, but we'll get to that. This game originally retailed for $39.99 on the online PlayStation Store, which I still hate by the way, and they discounted it by $14. This was not a good sign to me, and I was really wary picking it up. The PS Store previews didn't look that good either, but I loved the show, so I just couldn't help it. Worst case scenario, I figured I was just out $28, and I do plenty of that by just watching a bad movie in a theater, so in my mind it was worth the stretch. For this pros versus cons review, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about the cons first, because quite frankly my impressions of the game, at least at first, were not exactly positive. To be honest, my biggest fear was that this game was going to be a cheap capitalization on yet another successful franchise. LJN anyone? Ironically, that company did do a game on the Karate Kid franchise for the NES, but let's not go there. Again, we have Cobra Kai. It's a successful franchise, so let's put it on some stuff. Clothes? Backpacks? Okay. But the next thing we know, it shamelessly appears on everything. Let's put on a lunchbox. Stationery. Heck, would we be surprised if they came out with Cobra Kai soft drinks? It might be a stretch now, you might think, but in the 80s, I'm not kidding, it was very possible. And playing the first few minutes into the game, it was really beginning to feel like a cheap money grab, and I warn you now that some of you may feel that way also. Early observations of gameplay showed me corny attacks and an even cheesier plot. You're going through the valley trying to obtain clues about who's sabotaging your fellow dojo members. The Cobra Kai's Miyagi-Dos naturally think it's each other, which actually plays well into the show's real premise. The art style is a little weird to me also. It didn't help with some of my early cringing with presentation, but it's presentation where some of the pros begin to come in. While some of the voice acting is somewhat bad, and it is, it does contain William Zabka, Ralph Macchio, as well as the voice actor for Dimitri and Hawk, which actually kind of saved the experience. Eventually I do find myself immersed in their universe. Despite my early reservations with the game, it did begin to grow on me. Naturally I picked Team Johnny to begin the game, but as you complete stages you earn tokens to help improve your characters. This is done in a skill tree format, which has one for each character and another for the entire dojo. As you unlock skills and more moves become available, combat becomes far more fluid, and this is where I begin to have the most fun with the game. You receive bonuses as you battle enemy characters, and if you string hits without taking damage, bonuses improve. I think my record for scoring hits was around 250 consecutive hits. Each character has their own moveset, so there is some differences in playstyle. I found every character had value. You pick up weapons like you would in an old school beat 'em up, and you can use the environment to help dispose of your enemies. There's also a lot of collectibles and even secrets, but it's done in a way that isn't obnoxious. So it's an improvement on the overall classic genre of the game. This is a two-player game also, So I can imagine myself and a buddy playing this together back in the day, or maybe these days on a drinking game night. So this is a mark in the plus column. Aside from the moves and controls gradually improving the experience, the other big plus is the incorporation of many locations and characters from the show's first 2 seasons. Almost everyone that had any kind of real significance on the show makes an appearance, with the exception of one notable absence of a major character. Amanda LaRusso and Carmen Diaz, for instance, both make an appearance in the game, giving your character health items. That is so like a classic video game. But the people you beat up in this game, though, sometimes I just don't know. I mean, Street Punks is one thing. Double Dragon had the Shadow Warriors, for instance. But I don't ever recall Billy and Jimmy beating up hippie girls and literally a character called Mommy. That doesn't feel right. It just felt weird going through the Cobra Kai story mode. But when I beat that and went through the Miyagi's line, I felt a lot better about it. I wonder how Miyagi would have felt about his namesake dojo beating down so many. As a matter of fact, why are all these people wanting to fight you anyways? It doesn't really make that much sense, but whatever. I'm serious though, some of the boss fights in here are just plain goofy. I mean, fighting the rival dojo is one thing, and I can see value behind incorporating Kyler and some of his goons in there also. That makes sense. I actually like the Burt and Mitch battles also. It actually almost made me want them as playable characters. Then there was the Tom Cole battle. Okay, this is a stretch, but we'll run with it. Then when I finally got to the beach stage... Oh, hello there, Yasmine. Yasmine? Really? Am I gonna have to fight this character? Yep, this is happening. We are now beating down an untrained kid as a major boss fight in this game. This is not awkward at all. Honestly, I got over this one quickly though, because I consider the Yasmine fight one of the hardest in the game. It was so bad that when I finally did beat her, I had no issues whatsoever with Johnny beating Yasmine in her cheap attacking face. Way to make the players hate a boss fight, game creators. Very well done. Only the last boss fight was tougher than the Yasmine fight. This is only accessible with beating both story paths when you have to find out who the true enemy is. The true enemy. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Where's Batman when you need him? I bet his mad detective skills could figure it out. So overall, was this worth my $28 after tax? I could have done far worse, and I can legitimately say I had fun. If I had to give this game a true grade, I'd say 3.5 stars out of 5. My apologies to any hardcore fans out there, but the game did drag on a little longer than I wanted it to. The other grade factor was the fact that my chances of randomly picking up the game, at least for a replay, are relatively low. As I said before, I steadily played this game for a little over a week, and I really wanted to beat it because I was having fun, meaning the game makers did something right. So, I'm happy with the purchase. Thanks for watching this Casual Gamer's review to Cobra Kai. If you like what you see, feel free to like and subscribe, whether it be for other Casual Gamer reviews or other video I might do. When it comes to these casual reviews, it's all about whether or not we're having fun, so there you have it. In the meantime, this is Mad Marty, reminding you to do what's responsible, avoid what's irresponsible, make the most of what you got, and get respect. Mad respect. See you next time.